Hi, Thomas Brinsko, CEO of BIC Alliance, here with a longtime friend and business partner of mine, Mr. Roger Gossett. He is the CEO of CON Holdings. Uh, Amongst other things, they operate Diamondback Works, a specialty construction company here in the Houston area. I've had the good pleasure of working with Roger for a while, and I wanted to talk to him today about some of his experiences of working with the different divisions of BIC. Roger is a special partner in the fact that he's worked with all three divisions: our investment banking group, our marketing team, as well as our recruiting company. And I think the recruiting company is where we actually got to meet each other for one of the first times. Is that right?
I actually think I met you when I was at Brock.
At Brock. Okay.
At Brock, we had all these
Mm-hmm.
companies.
Mm-hmm.
We had service this, service
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that, service this. And of course, I came from a public company background. According to Jerry Brock, I was the first guy not raised in their pasture.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got there, and first off, I said, we can't be service this, service that. It's like Acme Brick. I said, so we changed the name to Brock, and we started branding Brock, and then we started branding the Brock model,
Mm-hmm.
which was a bundle of services versus a single service. And we did the cover of BIC in May.
Yep.
During
AFPM maintenance
AFPM
conscious.
maintenance. We
Right.
called it
Mm-hmm.
something else
Mm-hmm.
back
Mm-hmm.
then, NPRA.
Right. And I
But
remember we profiled you in the magazine. You and I didn't have the relationship back then, certainly.
yeah,
And
but y'all shoved it under the door of everybody in the hotel's room, and everybody come up and goes, "Well, what is going on with all this? What happened?" I said, "Well, I got this magazine stuck under my door. Did you stick it under there?" I think everybody got that magazine.
we call it alligator marketing. It's
Yeah.
all about getting the name out in front of the customer base.
So I think that was our first interaction.
Mm-hmm.
Was
Mm-hmm.
way back when, back in the old Brock days.
Right. Yes. And we did meet then. And then it was after you were with Brock and you were kind of looking for your next gig that we really connected and started.
Yeah, we sold Brock
Mm-hmm.
and sold it to a private equity firm. And I decided that really wasn't me. For I took my year off
Mm-hmm.
and did some interesting things and got bored.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of came back and touched base with Thomas. And I said, I'm going to go back into the workforce because I'm bored.
Mm-hmm.
Retirement's not for me.
Right.
And it didn't take Thomas very long to find me a position where I made an impact immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from dealing with the Lyondale bankruptcy to
Mm-hmm.
growing the business.
That was a board level position.
It was
too.
a very
Yeah.
accretive.
Mm-hmm.
It was number 2 guy in the company, and I was on the board.
Mm-hmm.
But we also created a big value for the company real fast. So
Yeah.
they thought they got their money.
That was a real success
I
story.
think.
That's a real success story. And after that, you became the U.S. president for JV Driver. And although we had placed you at your previous job at JV Driver, we did a little bit of recruiting for you and placed some office help as well as a couple salespeople,
I
right?
can't even remember. You placed people for me, several people for me at Austin.
Mm-hmm.
He placed people for me at JV Driver. I think you might have placed a person or two for me at Brock.
Mm-hmm.
I was the executive vice president for the Canadian operation and the president of the U.S. operation. So I spent a lot of time flying back and forth. But yeah, we ran another campaign, just like at Austin. One of the first things we did was we ran a 3-year campaign with BIC, and it was more than just a magazine. We used the cover on all of our materials, like our pamphlets, our brochures, whatever it was, same exact cover, because we wanted that brand. They had to look at it 2 months a year.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted them to look at that. And so it was the Imagine campaign, because every employee was an owner. And then at JV Driver, we thought and thought and thought and thought. And we had this slogan, think different, build better. And we built mega projects. And so we ran the same kind of campaign with BIC again, which was very successful in that while the Canadian
Mm-hmm.
entity was quite big, my job there was kind of to straighten out, not kind of, but was to straighten out some large mega projects. In the U.S. is very different. It was to grow something from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And so through that branding effort, we landed some major projects and
Mm-hmm.
grew quite rapidly and profitably.
Right.
But BIC had a lot to do with that.
Well, thank you, Roger. And then I guess the third division, while you were at JV driver, you were looking for a shop and some fabrication facilities in town, and we were able to locate a potential seller for you at that point in time.
Oh yeah, we've looked. Yeah, we ended up acquiring that company, which was about 25% fabrication, 75% field services.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good complement.
It fit in well.
To fitting in our vertical model that I always like to talk about. That you one hand to shake, one throat to choke.
Yeah. One hand to shake, one throat to choke.
Yeah, but it's only you only got one place to look, right? You can't. None of this is going to go on. So, in between all that, we have looked at an electrical company. We've looked at another company that we're still looking at. We've looked at several. All of them came through IVS. So we've received a lot of opportunities, and we are a build and buy company. We usually look for medium to small acquisitions, and Thomas and IVS have been great about supplying us with those opportunities.
Yeah. And that's kind of our thing, is that our mission statement is connecting people in business and industry with one another for the betterment of all. And the idea with the marketing company and publication is we're connecting readers, those end users, with the service contractors and manufacturers that advertise in there. With a recruiting company, we're connecting employers and employees, and with our investment bank, we're connecting sellers with investors and buyers. And only three ways to grow your business, and we're just trying to figure out the best way to help our clients grow.
Well, one thing I might add is you guys are also educational. When I was in Canada, we were dealing with $1.5 billion, $2 billion projects, just our part. We got involved with advanced work packaging.
You turned me on to AWP.
And so for, several years, Thomas would interview me and put articles in BIC magazine about advanced work packaging, workplace planning, and literally from coast to coast in the U.S., I would get phone calls from people and say, "We're supposed to be doing this. What is it?" And because in Canada, it snows, and so you can't find your stuff. And so we used RFID tags, and we used all kinds of stuff, and the planning to all work in concert together. And same challenges in the U.S., even though we don't have 4 feet of snow. We had the same issues. Well, but nobody really knew what it was. They just knew that it had been effective in Canada. But the main form of communication, gosh, I can't tell you how many times I got asked to speak on this subject, was started through BIC. I think at least 3 times I had articles in BIC magazine.
Well, we try to make people famous. I appreciate it. You're one of my heroes, Roger. Thank you, man.
I don't know.